In this video, I'm going to teach you how to become dangerously confident. But first, in order to become confident, you have to figure out why you've lost your confidence in the first place. And a lot of things that destroy confidence are things like self-betrayal. Self-betrayal meaning when you do things that are out of alignment with your values, when you're people pleasing, when you're spending time with the wrong people, when you're in a relationship with someone that's not treating you fairly, and you continue to stay in it despite the way they treat you. Self-betrayal can also look like when you tell yourself you're going to do something and you continue not to do it. So if you're somebody who says, I want to work out, 3 or 4 days a week, and then you don't show up to the gym, or you want to walk 15, 20 minutes a day and you don't walk, or you want to journal for 10 minutes a day and you don't journal, that erodes self-respect, it erodes self-trust, and ultimately your self-confidence. Because I think that there's a direct link between confidence and competence. We're going to talk about competence in a little bit, but when you are competent, when you believe in yourself, when you feel like when you feel like you can trust what you're doing based on your skills, based on your actions, based on the way you're living your life, I think that I think confidence comes more naturally because you already have this foundation built, right? So if you are constantly saying to yourself that you're going to do things, and you don't do them, that's going to eat away at your ability to become confident. So self-betrayal, that is a core theme of what erodes confidence long term. Another thing that erodes confidence long term is comfort addiction, meaning like you're getting too comfortable in life. And that doesn't mean that you can't like sit on the couch and watch Netflix, every now and again. It's not that you can't sit on the couch and relax. That's not what I'm talking about. Comfort addiction to me is not betting on yourself. It's not facing your fears. It's not challenging yourself. It's staying in the same rhythm and the same habits and doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's one thing to be disciplined, because I think having discipline in life is incredibly important. But what I'm talking about here is when you're not pushing yourself to that next level. Like you can be disciplined by going to the gym regularly while also increasing the weight, or also increasing the time on the treadmill, also increasing the amount of time you're spending stretching, or whatever the example is, right? So when you get too comfortable, I think it erodes self-confidence, because confidence comes from facing your fears, and it's your ability to embrace discomfort. Because I think that is something that is monumental for self-confidence, because when you do things that challenge you, or when you do things that scare you, you end up feeling better about yourself, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that I took that chance, or I faced that fear, or it wasn't as scary as I thought. And then you feel better about yourself, right? So when you don't do those things, and you stay stagnant, and you don't bet on yourself, and you convince yourself you're not worth enough to take that chance, that's going to eat away at your confidence. So you want to make sure that you're not doing those things. Make sure that you're not getting stuck in these rhythms and doing things that can actually lead to you embracing discomfort, facing your fears, and building more confidence. One of the other things that destroys confidence is comparison. Now, I think there can be a healthy comparison where you are, it's like the success leaves clues mindset, where you're saying, okay, like there's this person that's in my line of work that I want to be like, or that has these things. What are some of the takeaways from their success that I can figure out how to implement into my life in a way that works for me? Right. I mean, that's totally cool. I think it's very good. It's a very good thing to do. What I'm talking about is when you are constantly like scrolling on social media, or comparing how your life is to someone else's without any kind of constructive action around that, right? It's comparing your life to your neighbor, your coworker, your friend, somebody in your family, without like any kind of like reflection on, okay, like, if there's something if if there's something that they're doing that I want to do, like how do I do more of that? Or if they are in a place that I want to be, like what are some steps I can take to get there? Like that's kind of like more reflective, instead of the woe is me, like all of my friends are married and I'm not, or all my friends have kids and I don't, or they're going on the vacations and I'm not. Like that comparison trap can sink your self-confidence very quickly, because you'll start to think negatively. You'll start to think poorly about yourself. You'll start to, again, feel sorry for yourself and not take any kind of action. And I think when you do that, obviously you're not going to feel good about yourself or your life. So it's incredibly important um, for you not to fall into that comparison trap, and use comparison as a healthy way um, to kind of go after what you want, right? So it's not about like scrolling on social media and saying their life's better than mine, woe was me. It's like, okay, if there's somebody that you admire that is further ahead than you, how can you like adapt some of those things into your life if that's where you're trying to go? And you also have to be careful, because there are other like habits and things that we do that secretly or quietly destroy our own respect for ourselves, or our own confidence in the way we feel. Number one, it's the people we spend time with. And I talk about this a lot. You want to make sure that you're spending time with people that have common futures and not common pasts. If you're somebody who's looking to get ahead in life, you're somebody who's looking to become unstuck, if you're somebody that is looking to make something of yourself, you want to be hanging around similar types of people. If you're spending time with people that are doing a lot of unhealthy habits, they are feeling sorry for themselves, they're potentially limiting you from chasing your goals, well, that's going to silently like hurt your confidence. And it's not going to be something that it's going to happen right away. It's going to be this slow burn over time, where you're going to become unconfident, you're going to become negative, and you're going to wonder why. And part of that, a big part of that, is the people that you spend time with. The other thing is inability to deal with stress can definitely hurt your self confidence, because if you're somebody that whenever you're stressed, your default is to an unhealthy coping mechanism, in my own experience, I think over time you will end up feeling poorly about yourself, because you're going to feel ashamed. You're going to feel like, why can't I, do the right thing in the moment? Why can't I practice the pause? Why do I have to sabotage my life even more every time I get stressed? And if you continue to do that over time, you're essentially going to teach yourself that you can't handle hard things, which I think goes back to, which I think then goes back to, eating away at your confidence in a pretty big way. So that's another like kind of like more silent thing that happens, because it's not like a direct thing of, oh, I'm not achieving this goal, so boom, my confidence is defeated. I think it's a lot more subtle than that. I think the other thing that defeats confidence is failure and the way you see it. And we're going to talk about some reframes here in a second, but I think that if you are somebody that whenever things don't go your way and you see it as a huge negative thing in your life every single time, it's going to eat away at your confidence, because then you're going to convince yourself that you're not going to take a chance anymore. You're not going to do the hard thing. You're going to fail no matter what, right? So you have to understand that when you fail, or when things don't go your way, you have to shift and not think of it in a negative way. And we're going to get to these reframes here in a second, but that's something that you have to master, is like, how do you not get bent out of shape when things don't go your way, and redirect it back and course correct it back on the path that you're going on, right? And so I'm going to get into some of these reframes that I think can be very helpful. They've been helpful for me. The first thing is, you got to spend time with people who have common futures and not common pasts. And I said this earlier, and I really want to hit this home. And it's a great reframe, because the reframe here is this. For a long time, I thought that friendships were dependent on longevity and how long I knew someone. And because of that, I kept people in my life that I had known for a period of time, and they weren't on that same trajectory that I was going. And it was impacting my self-confidence. And it was impacting my confidence because I knew that I shouldn't be spending time with these people anymore. And I knew that I wanted something different, right? And so when I decided to have this reframe of like, okay, I'm going to keep the people in my life that are going the same way I'm going, it helped me a lot, because now I thought of it as like, okay, like I'm making an investment in these relationships, and because it's something that I want for my future self. And it's not because I feel like I quote unquote have to. Right. So it's like getting away from the people you partied with when you were younger. It's, letting go of people you worked with, 5-10 years ago. It's all these things that you have to just let go of, because you're not that person anymore. You are growing and evolving. And if you continue to kind of like think in the mentality of, well, I've known this person or I used to work with that person, like it's going to impact your self-confidence because again, like longevity doesn't determine like quality when it comes to friendships. What determines quality is alignment. It's, goal, having similar type of goals. It's like kind of life, life direction and where you're going and all these things. It's not just like, how long have I known this person? It's if I'm being my best self in the next 5 to 10 years, would I still want these people around? Right. So it's like thinking about where you're going in life and then, allocating your time with people accordingly based on that. The second thing is the second reframe is when you fail, don't think of it as I'm a failure. Think of it as I failed and I made a mistake. And this is how, I'm going to learn from that. It's a great reframe because if you think of yourself as a failure and you identify that way, that's going to lead to a lot of negativity downstream and again like hurting your confidence. So when you fail, look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow and kind of course correct to get you back in alignment with your goals, and also to say, hey, like I tried this thing, it didn't work out, cool, like I'm proud of myself for doing the thing and trying the thing, but let's move on to something else and figure out how I can move on in a way that's productive. It's not like letting those failures identify who you are as a person. The other thing is you have to take full responsibility and accountability for everything in your life. And it's not saying that you justify when behavior of other people and the way that they treat you. It's taking accountability for your side of the street and responsibility for how you act, how you behave, um, how you live your day-to-day life, how you respond in situations that are tough. Like that's all on you. It's got to be on you because the moment you don't and you give quote unquote control over to someone else, I mean, you lose because now you feel powerless, you feel hopeless, and you're like, hey, like, you know, the world's against me anyway, or people treat me a certain way. So there's no point in trying these things, or there's no point in acting like a bigger person, or whatever the example is. And you're going to end up like very miserable and in a spot where you are just not, in a good spot in life. And you're somebody that is, not in a good spot in life, and somebody that ends up, not being confident, not having self-esteem. And again, like not being in that place where you want to be. Right. So you gotta, do what you can to escape that victim mindset and, not feel sorry for yourself and take full responsibility, for your actions in your day-to-day life. And one of the other reframes is you want to chase like action and competence and not just quote unquote confidence. Because I think that, affirmations and talking positively to yourself can be very helpful. And you need to be optimistic when you're going through hard times. But I don't think affirmations alone make you confident. What makes you confident is your ability to get things done even when you don't feel like it. What makes you confident is your ability to compound small wins in your life that add up to something major. Confidence is built by taking action and developing skills and getting better at things, right? It's becoming more competent, right? You want to be more confident with your workouts. You got to get better and more knowledgeable about exercise. You want to improve your relationships, be more confident in relationships. You got to build skills and knowledge around relationships. You want to get better and more confident in business. You got to build these skills. So you see where I'm going with this. Like build competence, build self-awareness, take action, learn, keep evolving and growing as a person, and you will naturally become more confident. Because I just think that if, a lot of people, at least in my experience, if you ask them why they're not confident, it comes down to um, just their not a knowledge problem, but their belief that they can't do a certain thing because they don't have the skills, or they don't have the mindset, or they don't have the talent to get to that thing. Now, again, it's not saying that you can just do whatever you want in life based on your actions, but you can get a lot done and you can become really confident by making these shifts and by like really developing these skills to make you more competent in your day-to-day life, which will lead to more confidence. So focus on actions, make sure you're following through with your word, make sure you're doing things on a daily basis that are leading to becoming a more confident person. And then I think the rest will kind of take care of itself. Now, the other thing I want to add here is Confidence doesn't mean you're arrogant. Arrogance is like a false sense of confidence. Arrogance would be like me saying, I'm better than everyone at basketball just to sound confident. 'Cause I'm not. Like, I'm terrible at basketball. I like playing basketball, but I'm not good at it. Or by saying that I'm the fastest person in the world to sound like good about myself. But the reality is I'm not fast. I mean, my mile time is probably pretty embarrassing, um, you know, in that matter. But it's not like over exaggerating things. Confidence is being okay in your belief in your ability to accomplish things that are like right in front of you. It's not this boasting and saying, look at me. It's like this silent thing that you carry with you on a day-to-day basis, that you just know that you'll be able to kind of go through life based on the skills and the talent and characteristics that you have already, right? um, and then one of the other important reframes is to focus on small wins and not these huge goals. Like, confidence isn't built by getting to the top of that mountain. Confidence is built by, again, these small wins, like I talked about earlier, that compound over time. It's, a few small wins, you fall down a little bit, then you're like, hey, I still believe in myself. I'm going to get back up. A few small more wins. I fall a little bit, get back up, a couple more small wins, fall, get back. And then you look up, you look down like in a few months time, and you're like so far up the mountain, right? And there's a lot of confidence that comes in that and being like, man, like I'm so happy, that I got back up and that I'm now in a place that I'm super thankful to be in. So that's what true confidence, that's how true confidence is built, is by these small wins, over time. A couple other reframes. You got to develop a whatever it takes mentality. I think one of the things that sinks confidence too is like giving up on yourself like too soon. And, sometimes you got to have that whatever it takes mentality and saying, you know what, like I'm not going to let things stop me from getting to this thing. I'm going to do whatever it takes to quit addiction, do whatever it takes to, improve my health. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make more money, whatever the example is, instead of quitting on yourself. Like, that whatever it takes mentality, um, is incredibly important. And the other thing, one of the other mindset shifts that comes to mind too, is like not letting other people's opinions dictate your life. And we talked about this earlier with comparison, but this is a little bit different, where you have a lot of people that won't do the things that they want to do, and they won't like take the chance on themselves because they're afraid of what other people are going to say about them. And you have to let that go. It's cool to have like this healthy level of feedback and constructive criticism from the people around you. But what I'm talking about here is, letting people kind of kill your dreams, letting people, like crap on your goals and whatever it is you want to accomplish in life, and letting that dictate how you live. And you don't end up pursuing anything, which then leads to poor confidence, right? So the way to offset that is to not let other people's opinions dictate your life, and instead like go after what you want, set goals, set achievable goals, and take feedback along the way from the people that you trust, right? But don't let like the noise get to you, right? Because if you let the noise get to you, you'll never develop self-confidence, right? Um, and then, as other things that come to mind that are just like a short list of things that I think can destroy confidence, is not going to the gym, not exercising, not taking care of your health. It's eating poorly, um, not getting good sleep. It's scrolling on social media. It's, watching porn. It's drugs. It's all the things um, that are kind of obvious, right? But these things over time will just wreck your confidence. Again, because I think confidence comes down to, your ability to follow through with things you say you want to do and take care of yourself and not betray yourself, and focus on being a better version of yourself. Like, I think if that's the main goal, the main takeaway is that confidence is built by focusing on gradually becoming a better version of yourself, you will win long term and you will develop this confidence forever, right? Because confidence isn't this point you get to. Confidence is this muscle you gradually work on over time, and the more you work on it, the more you do the things, like the easier it gets to maintain. It's not to say that you're not going to have down days, because you will, but your ability to be confident during those hard times, it'll be easier, right? And so then when you're going through hard times, it won't be like, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to be able to make it. I might as well quit or do something else. It's going to be like, no, like I've already proven to myself that I can embrace discomfort. I can do hard things. I can bet on myself. I can stay true to all these things. I'm going to get through this. That's what confidence is all about. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below your feedback, and also let me know if there's any other topics you'd love to cover. Thanks again for the support. And once again, hopefully you enjoyed this video.